At 2:13 in the morning. Someone knocked on my motel door. 20 minutes later, they were tapping on my window, holding the wallet I had left beside my bed. But that wasn't the part that made me run. The part that made me run was when the police arrived, and the woman at the front desk told me not to open the door. I was driving through northern Arizona when I realized I wasn't going to make it to Flagstaff that night. It had been raining for almost an hour, and visibility on the highway was getting worse. I'd already been driving for 9 hours, so when I saw a faded motel sign glowing beside the road, I pulled in. The place was called Red Mesa Motor Lodge. It looked exactly like the kind of motel you'd expect to find in the middle of nowhere. 2 floors. Maybe 20 rooms. A tiny office near the parking lot. And only 3 cars outside. The woman at the front desk looked like she was in her 60s. She barely spoke while checking me in. She handed me a key card. Room 12. Then she looked past me toward the parking lot. If somebody knocks tonight. She paused. Check the window first. I laughed because I thought she was joking. She didn't laugh back. I figured she was warning me about drunk travelers or people asking for money. Room 12 was on the ground floor, near the far end of the building. Inside, everything looked old but clean. A bed. A small television. A bathroom. And a curtain covering a window that faced the parking lot. I locked the door, took a shower, and called my brother to tell him where I was staying. By midnight, the rain had stopped. The entire motel went quiet. Not peaceful quiet. The kind of quiet where you start noticing every tiny sound. The air conditioner clicking. Water moving through old pipes. Someone walking upstairs. Around 1 in the morning, I turned off the TV and tried to sleep. I must have fallen asleep for maybe an hour. Because when I opened my eyes again, the digital clock beside the bed read 2:13 a.m. And someone was knocking on my door. 3 slow knocks. Knock. 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 I stayed still. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then I remembered what the woman at the front desk had told me. Check the window first. So I quietly got out of bed and moved toward the curtain. I pulled one corner back just enough to see outside. A man was standing directly in front of my door. He was wearing jeans and a dark rain jacket. His head was lowered, so I couldn't see his face. I thought maybe he had the wrong room. Then he knocked again. 3 times. I didn't answer. After maybe 30 seconds, he slowly walked away. I watched him cross the parking lot. He stopped near the vending machine. Then disappeared around the side of the building. I locked the deadbolt and went back to bed. But something about it bothered me. The motel parking lot had lights everywhere. Yet I never saw the man's face. Around 20 minutes later, I heard another knock. This time, it came from the window. I froze. Tap. 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 Someone was tapping on the glass. I didn't move. Then a voice whispered through the window. "Sir." It sounded calm. Almost friendly. "Sir, you dropped something outside." I stared at the curtain. There was no way I was opening it. The voice came again. "You dropped your wallet." That got my attention. My wallet had been on the nightstand. I turned around. It was gone. For a second, I honestly thought maybe I had dropped it outside while carrying my bag. Then I remembered paying for the room. I had definitely brought it inside. I checked the floor. My jacket. My backpack. Nothing. The tapping started again. "Sir." I walked toward the door. Not to open it. Just to look through the peephole. The hallway outside was empty. I checked the window again. Nobody was there. Then I saw something lying on the ground beneath it. My wallet. I stepped backward. My first thought was that someone had entered the room while I was sleeping. But the door had been locked. And the window didn't open. I immediately called the front desk. The phone rang 6 times before the woman answered. I whispered, "Someone keeps knocking on my door." She didn't say anything for a moment. Then she asked one question. "What time?" I looked at the clock. 2:37. I told her. Her voice changed. "Do not open the door." I wasn't planning to. "No. Listen to me." She sounded scared now. "Do not open it even if they say they're police." That sentence made my stomach drop. I asked her what was happening. Instead of answering, she said, "I'm calling the sheriff." Then the line went dead. I sat on the bed with every light turned on. 5 minutes passed. Nothing. 10 minutes. Still nothing. Then headlights appeared outside. A vehicle entered the parking lot. Through the curtain, I saw flashing red and blue lights. A sheriff's cruiser. I felt relieved. A few seconds later, someone knocked. "Sheriff's Department." I almost opened the door. Then I remembered what she had said. Even if they say they're police. I looked through the peephole. A deputy was standing outside. Uniform. Badge. Everything looked real. He knocked again. "Sir, front desk called us. Can you open the door?" I reached for the lock. Then stopped. Something was wrong. There was a police cruiser outside. But I hadn't heard it pull in. No engine. No car door. Nothing. I backed away. "Can you show me some ID through the window?" Silence. The deputy slowly turned his head toward the peephole. Then he smiled. A huge smile. Too wide. And said quietly, "You already looked." I stumbled backward. The lights outside disappeared instantly. No cruiser. No flashing lights. Nothing. The parking lot was empty again. Then every light in my motel room shut off. The air conditioner stopped. The TV went dark. For several seconds, I couldn't see anything. Then someone knocked. Not from the door. From inside the bathroom. 3 slow knocks. I grabbed my phone and ran toward the window. I didn't care anymore. I picked up the desk chair and slammed it into the glass. It cracked. Again. The window shattered. I climbed through, cutting my arm on the glass, and ran straight toward the front office. The woman unlocked the office door and pulled me inside. We stayed there until sunrise. The real sheriff arrived around 6 in the morning. They searched my room. Nobody was inside. The bathroom was empty. Nothing had been stolen. Except my wallet. The sheriff found it almost 30 feet behind the motel. Lying in the dirt. I asked the woman what had happened. She wouldn't explain. She only told me that room 12 had been closed for years. I stared at her. "You gave me room 12. She shook her head. No. She pulled out the motel register. Beside my name was a room number. Room 11. I went back outside. Room 11 was directly beside the room where I had spent the night. Its door was open. Clean sheets. My suitcase sitting beside the bed. Exactly where I thought I had left it. I turned toward room 12. There was no number on the door. Just a faded rectangle where one had once been. And inside, the room was completely empty. No bed. No television. No nightstand. Nothing. Except 3 wet fingerprints. Pressed against the inside of the window.